Okay, good afternoon sa inyong lahat and sensya na medyo late nag-start yung stream and we are now here at a game. Our video stream for today is this round 18 Blitz edition of the Paris Rapid and Blitz 2021 of the Grand Chess Tour. This is the last game between Wesley and Ian Nipunyatsi. I hope it's pronounced that right. Actually, on the 17th round of the Blitz, Wesley So had already won the tournament because even if Ian would win, it's impossible for him to catch up with the score of Wesley So. But nevertheless, Ian, having also already secured second place, wanted to win in style, and I think he never offered Wesley a draw, and uh, he wants to win it, and it allowed Wesley to uh, play the game also and have a chance to uh, win the tournament in style too. So let's see. I want for those that are not yet knowledgeable of the result. I won't tell you the result immediately, and for those who knows the result immediately, please don't say it on the live chat, so that the others that would have a feel of not yet knowing the end result of the tournament. So okay, this is a very exciting game actually, and let's play through the moves. Okay, at this point, Wesley is already ahead by 2 points. I think by 2 points against Nipo. So okay, so let's see how it went through. So Ian essayed somewhat a very not expected move here. His first move is b3. Okay, and Wesley just made the move d5. Maybe hoping to convert it into a d4 pawn opening. And then bishop b2, knight f6 by Wesley, and e3. So it's somewhat like a regular opening here. But maybe they already know many instances or many types of opening with this variation. Of course, these are super grandmasters. And bishop f5 by Wesley, immediately solving the problem of the light squared bishop or black in the d4 opening. And knight f3, e6, and c4. So Ian is trying to undermine the pawn center of Wesley here. And c6. Of course, Wesley won't take that pawn. Just let Nipo do that. Make the capture if he wants to. And we have knight c3 and knight b to d7 and d4. So here, no capture, no exchange have happened yet. And we have here an offer to trade knight from Wesley, knight e4, and Nepo doesn't go for it, so he made a3. So this move is has the threat of trying to restrict Wesley on the queen side. He could go for c5 and then b4, and bishop d6 by Wesley. Wesley is just doing here a normal development of his pieces, and then exchange. So knight takes c3. Of course, bishop f5 cannot be made because cannot be uh, captured because the queen is being threatened by the knight that captured the white knight at c3. So bishop takes c3 first, and bishop takes d3. Queen takes d3. So we are down to two minor pieces here. So two the minor pieces have been exchanged. So we both have one knight and both have a dark squared bishop for both players. So we have here queen e7. So Wesley is just trying to keep his options open here. He could go either king side or queen side castling. And I think a plus for Nepo here is that I think he controls more space here. Uh, but anyway, that's not a very big factor for Nepo. It's just a very slight advantage. So queen e7 for Wesley, and then castling by Nepo, and a5 by Wesley. So before castling, Wesley wants to prevent b4 so that he won't be too much restricted on the queen side. So we have now a break from Ian. So e4, and Wesley does not took on it. He just wants Ian to make the decision on what to do with that pawn. So we have here a bishop b2 from Ian. I really don't know what's the purpose of this move. Anyway, this is Blitz, so they can't spend too much time on any decision here. So we have here a capture by Wesley. So the point of the bishop b2 actually from Ian is to make Wesley the one to make the decision on the capture in e4. So queen takes e4, knight f6. The queen has to move away. Queen h4, pinning the it's not a pin because the queen is supported by the bishop at b6. So we have here b5. So this is the point of bishop b2 a while ago, isn't it? So bishop c1 in order to pin the knight with bishop g5. Okay, exchange, and we now have c5 trying to undermine the pawn center, and a4, rook f to c8. So trying to shift his uh, pieces onto the queen side, and we have bishop e3, and then an exchange by Wesley. Okay, so this is somewhat critical in terms of position for Wesley here. So we have here rook a to b8. So Wesley is okay with the double pawn at this point because Ian could capture on f6. Okay, so Ian decided not to. So Wesley wants to trade bishop here. Actually, this is some sort of an offer to repeat moves, but Ian does not want to go for it. He wants to, maybe as some commentators have said, he wants to finish the tournament in style. So it is also a cue for Wesley to play on. Okay, so rook f e1, and then bishop takes e5, knight takes e5. It seems that Ian is having a space advantage here, but that space advantage is not really that much, and couldn't be said that it's a critical or a winning advantage. So we have here queen c7 and queen g5 supporting the knight at e5, and then queen c5, queen f4. So this queen f4 actually pins the knight here at f6. So the knight can't move because there is a queen takes f7 check. Okay, so Wesley has to do something about it first. So rook b7. So that's the solution made by Wesley, so that if the knight moves, then this f7 pawn is protected by the rook at d7. So okay, we now have h3. So this is somewhat a prophylactic move so that any mate from the background could be prevented. So we also have from Wesley h6 and rook d3. So this rook may go to g3 in order to threaten the knight at f6 with queen takes f6. So maybe that's the purpose of this move. And we now have a doubling of the rook by Wesley with rook c b8, trying to fully control this b file or threatening rook b1 and exchanging rooks. Maybe that is the purpose of that move. Okay, we now have a king h2 by Ian. So if rook b1, Ian could choose not to exchange rooks because there is no more check. Okay, so Wesley goes for rook b2. So he's trying to threaten. Actually, he is attacking the f2 pawn twice. One with the rook at b2 and the other with the queen at c5. Okay, Ian defends it with rook to f3. And we now have queen c7, pinning the knight and at the same time defending uh, f7. But actually, f7 is not aptly defended. So still the knight cannot move because there are three attackers and there's only two defenders, the queen and the king. So we now have rook e1 by Ian. And Wesley would like to, it seems that Wesley would like to control the second rank here by moving his other rook to a2. So the next move maybe is rook b to b2. Okay, so and we have queen g3. Actually, this is the point of the rook d3 a while ago in order to have this uh, threat here on the f6 knight. So as you can see here, the king of Wesley has to move somewhere, but it cannot just move anywhere. Wesley cannot go here to h7. No. Wesley cannot go to h8 or f8. Why? Because there is a check with the knight at g6. And by doing so, uh, the queen is also attacked. The black queen is also attacked at c7 by the queen at g3 at the same time. So going king h8 or king f8 is a big blunder for Wesley here, and he saw it and he made the move king h7. Actually, this move is the only move. It seems to be the only move because it it prevents the exchange or the capture by the rook at f6, wherein Wesley could not recapture because the pawn at g7 is pinned, and at the same time, preventing knight g6 check and losing the queen at c7. So it's a good move by Wesley here, and he immediately recognized that despite this being a blitz game. Okay, and they are already less than a minute at this point, both of them. And we now have queen to h4. And here Ian is threatening rook takes f6 and g takes f6. But maybe for Wesley, it doesn't matter because there is no uh, continuation for Ian afterwards. There is no immediate continuation. Uh, he has to go first to he has to move first with knight g4 in order to attack the h6 pawn, but that would take another tempo, and of course Ian cannot do that while his knight at e5 is pinned. Ian's knight is pinned actually right now, so Wesley just make his own counter attack here, and in Tagalog, not making pansin. Hindi niya pinansin yung atake dito sa f6. He disregarded the attack on f6 actually with this move, rook b to b2. Okay? So after this, we have the move rook e to e3. So Actually, the f2 pawn is well defended here. So Ian just made his own move here. And an offer to exchange rook here by Wesley. And Ian doesn't want that. And because the f2 square is only defended by the rook now, then we have a rook takes f2 by Wesley. I think at this point they are very much in time pressure here. So maybe that was a big blunder from Ian because of that time pressure. So rook takes f2, rook takes f2, and we now have c5. And at this point, Wesley is trying to control the f4 square. We have here knight d5. Of course, the knight at e5 cannot move here because it's pinned, and we have here an attack on the g7 square. This is a very good move because at the same time it attacks g7 and would now allow the knight at e5 to move away because the rook g3 actually covers the king, and it's the knight at e5 is not anymore pinned. But Wesley has a resource here, rook f4, attacking the queen. So a good counter from Wesley here. So queen b2 by Ian, and we now have rook f5, doubly attacking the knight at e5, and we now have knight f3, knight f6, offering to trade queens with queen b6. But actually, this is a blunder by Ian. We now have rook takes c5 and check by Ian. And at this point, Wesley nearly took hold of his rook there, and I think he missed for a split seconds that there is a check, and Wesley eventually saw it and moved his king. And at this point, we have here knight d4, and we have here knight h5 by Wesley. So here, Wesley has won an exchange here. He has won the exchange in equality exchange. Won the quality of the exchange here. So it's a blunder by Ian here. He should have moved his king away, but of course he cannot move his king. If we go to the previous move, he cannot move. He cannot move his king away because if the king goes to the back rank, there is rook c1. Actually, Ian is already in a very difficult situation at this point, and is only 5 seconds at this point. So let's go back. So we have here, and then knight takes g3, and after that, Ian resigned, and Wesley just won the tournament by a margin of 3 points, a very big margin at +3. So Wesley did not only win the tournament, he has won it in style with an exclamation point, stamping his dominance in this tournament compared to the opposition. So thank you for watching my stream. I hope you can watch my stream, future streams, and I think there's no comments right now. There's no live stream. This is a hurriedly made stream. I just wanted to test my new template here, my new look and feel of the design of my stream. I hope my other subscribers would later watch this stream of mine. So thank you for watching the stream, and to those who would watch this later, thank you very much. And for those that have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe in this YouTube channel of Pinoy Chess, and click on the notification bell button so that you would be notified of future videos and uploaded and future